Hey community, making this video on the road, so I apologize for any road noise or the video being the ceiling of my car. But I want to address an FAQ, a frequently asked question that I hear from owners who are concerned about having the money to be able to purchase CrossFit. Now, I think it's important to point out, I understand that the purchase price here is millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars, even as high as $100 million. I think that would be the highest we would go. And I understand that can be intimidating, an intimidating dollar amount purchase price for any gym owner. So perhaps the first thing to understand, the most important thing to understand, is this is going to be like buying shares in a company, a stock in a company. So you don't need to buy all of a massive corporation. You can buy an individual share. You would be a partial owner and thus be responsible for purchasing a portion of the company. Now, even that can still seem like a lot, but again, if you haven't seen some of our other videos, check this out. I just made 2 videos this past week. One discussing the scenario of 10,000 affiliates on board and spreading that cost out over 10,000 affiliates. With 10,000 affiliates, I believe we could negotiate a price that is $20 million or less. And so 10,000 affiliates purchasing the company for $20 million is only $2,000 total per affiliate. We could arguably reduce everyone's affiliate fees from $4,500 down to $2,500 for the next year. You pay the same exact amount as you would pay in affiliation fees, and you're an owner of the company. We bought the company from private equity, and then the following year we reduce your affiliate fees to $3,000, and now you're back to a $3,000 affiliation fee, and we can run the company off of that. Greg did it for decades. The only reason private equity can't do it is because they've loaded up the company with debt to pay themselves back, and they're making the payments on that loan using your affiliate fees. So that's the scenario with 10,000 affiliates. With 2,000 affiliates, as few as 2,000, I modeled it out and I explained this in a video. Even if we have to negotiate, or we have less leverage to negotiate $20 million, and we have to end up paying, let's say, $100 million, and I can't foresee a scenario where we're paying more than $100 million, but even with just 2,000 affiliates, but 2,000 affiliates, $100 million, that's $50,000 per affiliate. That is not insignificant. But in that scenario, we have approximately 8,000 affiliates who chose not to help us organize, and help us negotiate a better price. Those 8,000 affiliates would continue to pay the $4,500 affiliation fee that they're paying now under private equity, and the 2,000 affiliates would have their affiliation fee at zero. As owners of the company, they would pay nothing for affiliation. And so if you're paying nothing for affiliation, you can pay up to as much as $4,500 a year and use that to make a finance payment. So each affiliate finances that $50,000. Each of the 2,000 affiliates finances that $50,000 over 10 or 20 years, and they use the $4,500 that they would pay in affiliation fees. Instead, they're making a payment against that financing. They're an owner of the company. They pay no affiliation fee. And in fact, if you model this out and you finance it over 20 years, I believe I used a 6.5% interest rate over 20 years for $50,000, and the payment is less than $4,500. If you were to then take the additional fees that we would collect if we had 10,000 affiliates paying $3,000, because we roll everyone's affiliate fees back to $3,000, and instead we have 8,000 affiliates paying $4,500 and 2,000 paying nothing, we collect, I believe it was over $40 million in affiliate fees, and we could take that difference, that 10 million additional, or whatever the additional amount, 10 million plus, of affiliate fees that we would collect by only having 2,000 owners, pay that out to the 2,000 owners to help them with their financing payment, and we can finance, or those 2,000 affiliates could finance the purchase of the company for $100 million, $50,000 per affiliate, could finance it in just 10 years and pay off that loan after 10 years, have no affiliation fee after that, for less than the $4,500, because now you're not, as one of those 2,000 owners, you're not paying an affiliation fee. You're getting money back from HQ to help with paying off that financing. And then once you've paid it off, you have no affiliation fee. And oh, by the way, financing over 10 years is less than $4,500 a year. Seems like a no-brainer to me. And I think it's something every affiliate could afford. Perhaps every affiliate would struggle, or some affiliates, I should say, would struggle to get a $50,000 loan. I think there may be some affiliates who could help with that, some affiliates who might be in a better spot. We would also have the collective equity. Private equity bought CrossFit and took out a $100 million loan on the books of CrossFit. Now, we don't know what the status of that is, but affiliates have been making the financing payment on that $100 million with our affiliate fees. So, some of these things we won't know until we know. But the suggestion that any affiliate couldn't go in and afford to buy this by financing it, I think we could even arguably raise fees, not unlike the Green Bay Packers. Like the Green Bay Packers is a football team, and they raise money from their fans when they need money to, I believe the latest round of this, they upgraded the stadium, putting in a new Jumbotron, and making a whole bunch of other improvements to this stadium. And they financed it by with donations from their fans, and their fans got a little certificate back that said they're an owner of the team. And I don't think in that case there was any ownership actually involved. But they have a certificate that says they're an owner of the team, and as a loyal, dedicated fan, that's worth it to them. I think it was $80 to be an owner of the team. And again, it wasn't actual ownership. We could arguably even look at selling shares, actual ownership of the company to fans of CrossFit. I've talked to some of my members, and I said, hey, if I came to you and I said, you seem to be a real fan of CrossFit and what we do, and if I came to you and said I was trying to save CrossFit, and affiliates were organizing and we needed help, and you could buy a share of CrossFit for $100, would you do it? And the people I talked to said, like, absolutely. In fact, one person said, come on, I'll spend $150 on a pair of shoes. Of course I would spend $100 to own a share of CrossFit. I've had other people say they would throw in $1,000 just because they love CrossFit, not even like looking for ownership. They just loved CrossFit and didn't want to see it being dying a slow death. And they said, I'd throw in a couple thousand. And obviously they're, in the financial position to do that. Not everybody is, but we don't need everybody to. There's approximately 3 million CrossFitters. If, even 1 million of them threw in $100, that's $100 million right there. A third of CrossFitters threw in $100. That's roughly $100 million that we could raise by selling shares, individual shares. Sell 1 million shares at $100. You might even have people buying multiple shares. So again, there are multiple ways to raise the funds. The bigger stumbling block is the number of affiliates we have on board, or the bigger factor is the number of affiliates we have on board, because the more affiliates we have on board, organized and willing to take collective action to threaten de-affiliation, the better price we can negotiate. Affiliates do all the work. We make up the majority of, if not all of, CrossFit's revenue, and we have the leverage that no other buyer has. We have that leverage, and we can use that leverage to negotiate a fair and reasonable price to purchase the company at. And we can do it with as few as 2,000 gyms, but we don't have as much leverage. So that's the bigger piece of the puzzle. If what's keeping you from organizing with us and joining this is because you as an individual gym owner don't think you can buy the company for $100 million, you don't have to. You will end up paying less. I am committing to this, that you will end up paying less in financing your purchase of the company over 10 years than you are paying now in affiliation fees. You will pay less for your financing and your affiliation than you are paying now for affiliation fees. So if you can afford to pay affiliation fees now, you can afford to buy this company. In fact, you will pay less. You will be an owner of the company. We won't have to worry about private equity sucking profits out and doing nothing, offering no value. And I absolutely believe, and I know I've modeled it out with multiple scenarios, that we can absolutely do this. So if what's keeping you from joining this movement is that you don't believe you can afford it, that's not true. I hope this video helps. If you have questions, if you want to have it broken down in more detail, if you want to see the exact calculations I used, send us an email, cfaffiliatecollective@gmail.com. If you're suddenly that was your issue why you weren't joining and now you're sold, send us an email, cfaffiliatecollective@gmail.com. In the email, we need your name, your phone number, your email, your gym name, your number of years affiliated, as well as your current affiliation status. Past and present affiliates are all welcome. Potentially even gyms that have not affiliated. I've had a couple of gyms that said I never affiliated, but I would be a part of this movement. You are welcome as well. We need to organize and take collective action. Thanks for your help. I hope we can all get together and save CrossFit. Thanks.